Democratic Party of Hawaii officers have selected 3 candidates to send to Governor Green to consider for the House District 28 vacancy. They are Nadia Alves, Ernest Caravallo, and Michael Cove Ratcliffe. Alves most recently worked as an office manager at the Hawaii State House of Representatives. Caravallo is the chair of Neighborhood Board 13 downtown Chinatown, and Ratcliffe is a labor law attorney who serves on the Kalihi Palama Neighborhood Board. The State House District 28 seat became vacant after former Representative Daniel Holt was appointed to the Department of Land and Natural Resources.